Let me start with a question. What happens when trust is missing in leadership? Think about it. Without trust, consistency feels like you're just going through the motions, and any momentum you have might just feel like you're being pushed instead of inspired. But when trust is present, everything changes. Doors open, influence grows, and people follow you not because they have to, but because they want to. Today, we're going to dive into why trust is the hinge of influence. Remove it, and the door slams shut. Strengthen it, and opportunities swing wide open. No title required. Welcome to the Powerless Leader Podcast. Podcast for everyday influencer lead from the middle. I'm George Engel, leadership coach, educator, and founder of Lead. If you've ever felt unseen, unheard, or undervalued in your workplace or team, this is for you. Each episode, we dive into real stories, practical tools, and timeless principles to help you grow your influence, even when you have no formal authority. Because leadership isn't about titles, it's about impact. So whether you're a young professional, a seasoned team member, or someone just trying to lead where you are, lean in. Your voice matters. Your leadership counts. This is the Powerless Leader Podcast. Let's rise together. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Powerless Leader Podcast. My name is George Engel. I'm here to help you. I want to add value to you today in your leadership. And today I want to talk about, trust. You know, when I started thinking about this topic, I couldn't help but think of the movie Meet the Fockers, where Robert De Niro's character begins talking about the circle of trust, all right? The circle of trust, and how he expressed the circle of trust of bringing someone into his family. Leadership involves a circle of trust. We all have people to trust. Our organizations involve circles of trust. And in the last couple episodes, I've been talking about consistency, been talking about momentum and other topics about leadership. But we have to understand that trust is kind of the bridge or the hinge for those two things. Because without trust, nothing happens, essentially. Without trust, any door that was open to you will slam shut on you. And we need to figure out how to make sure trust is running an organization and trust, that we are trustworthy as people. Even if we don't have a title, we can lead when we have trust. You know, there's a quote out there by Zenger and Folkman. It says this, trust is the one thing that changes everything in leadership. It magnifies your impact when present and diminishes it when absent. Let me say that again, so it's a little more confident in it. Right. Trust is the one thing that changes everything in leadership. It magnifies your impact when present and diminishes it when absent. We have to have trust. If without it, nothing moves. Trust, in a way, is like the grease that runs the engine. And if you run out of it, things will come to a halt. Strip away trust. And to be honest, consistency just turns into empty routine. Strip away trust. The momentum begins to look like pressure rather than progress. And we have to keep that in mind. Now, there's something out there called the Trifecta of Trust, okay? And it's built on three key elements. It's built on relationships, it's built on expertise, and it's built on integrity. For relationships, people have to believe that you care about them. For people to trust you, they have to believe you care about them and that you'll speak truth to them. Really, we have to treat people well, and we have to be consistent on that. If we consistently treat people well, trust will be built. If we don't, trust is not going to happen, and people are not going to want to follow. And that's the key. And we have to understand that even when we don't have power, even when we don't have a position, we can still build strong relationships and build our productivity and build all the other elements we need to lead if we have trust, if we build trust in our relationships. The second thing we need really is, like I said before, is expertise or competence. People need to trust that you know what you're doing. You know, so many of us kind of sit back in this when, we get imposter syndrome because we don't believe we have the competence to do something when we really do. We have to take the steps to do it. And if we do it consistently and we do it well and we show our competence, if we show our expertise, if we show up every day with those things, if we have momentum in our expertise, trust will be built. You know, people, when they see your skill, they will learn to trust you. When they see you are competent at your job, you have to take those steps. You have to be competent. Without competency, what's the point in doing your job? Why are you there? That's a good question. Consistency and trust, consistency in your expertise builds long-term credibility. And that's what we need to understand. Now, you have relationships, you have your expertise, but you also have to have integrity. And really, this to me, of this trifecta, is the most important. Really, the way to think about integrity is people are just going to believe you do what you say. If you say you're going to do it, you follow up, you make sure it's done. You don't put it off for 6 months. You don't put it off for a year. You put it off and you lose trust. But if you say you're going to do something, just do it. And this is really the glue. Leaders who keep these commitments, even the small little things, are trusted even more. So I ask you, how is your integrity? Are you keeping commitments? Are you doing what you say you'll do? And really, consistency and momentum help here too, because the more you're consistent in keeping your word and doing what you say, the more you will build a trustworthy reputation in your organization, in your company, in your business, or even with your family and friends. It shows up everywhere, these elements. Momentum just doesn't come from action. Momentum comes from your credibility. A team will run with you if they trust you. They'll drag their feet if they don't. They will drag. There'll be like an anchor attached to you, and your productivity will fall. Your team's productivity will fall. You've got to have that trust. Your boss has got to trust you. Your peers have got to trust you. And those who you might lead have to trust you to do what you're going to do. And if that trust is not there, none of that's going to happen. For me, my trust, and I'm on staff at my church. I'm a pastor. If you've heard some of my episodes, you know that. And for me, trust is critical. When I first started out at my church, I wasn't a pastor. I wasn't much at all. I just showed up one day. I knew some people, but I stepped up. I began volunteering. And in volunteering, if I was asked to do something, I did it. If I said I would do something, I did it. And I started serving and doing the small things that build trust. And if I hadn't built trust, I wouldn't be on staff right now. I wouldn't be a pastor at this church. It starts with that small thing of serving and building trust, showing up and doing what you've said you're going to do. So how does that apply to us? How can I apply this to my life? You might be saying, I'm not a CEO. I'm not anything but just a guy in the middle. Or you might even be a younger person. You're just a dude in the classroom or a young woman in a classroom. You're in college, you're in high school, wherever you might be. So what do I do? Well, you build trust through presence. It's just like I did. I was talking about in my church. You build trust by being there. You be dependable. Make sure you are dependable, even in the small, mundane things, even in the boring things. Be dependable. You build trust through growth. Invest in developing your expertise. I'd rather you focus on something that you dream about, that you can pursue, that you're good at, and strengthen that. Build your expertise there, and you will build trust. And finally, you can build trust through your character. Align your words and actions, even if no one sees you do them. Align them together. Consistency will create credibility. Momentum can create energy, but trust creates your influence. Trust builds your influence. And you know what? One danger here, we can spend a lifetime building our reputation and building trust, but one bad step can ruin that. One moment of distrust, one moment of dishonesty, or one moment where you lack integrity can destroy your trust where you are, among your relationships, among your peers, anywhere. So it's key for you to build your trust and to not blow it, so that you don't have to rebuild that trust once again. And I've been in places where I've blown that trust and I've had to start all over again. And because of that, it has taken me years to get back to where I need to be. So building trust is key. So my question for you today is, what leg of the trust trifecta do you need to strengthen? Do you need to strengthen your trust in your relationships, your trust in your expertise, or do you need to strengthen your trust in your integrity? What is it? What do you need to strengthen? I encourage you to do that this week. Find one of those legs to begin working on and see it through. Pick one action step and grow in that trust factor. Well, guys, this is the end of this episode. I try to keep these, 10 to 15 minutes long, and I'm hoping this helps you guys. So if it has, I'd like you to share it with someone who needs encouragement in their leadership, and rate it, share it, like it, put it out there. because that's how we grow. And don't forget to subscribe to the Powerless Leader Podcast wherever you listen. And remember, you are not powerless. You just need to learn how to leverage your influence. And trust is a big part of that. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I'll see you again in a couple of weeks as we explore the next item on our agenda. Thank you, guys.